in Warhorse, they don't have real horses. They're puppets. Oh, my God, says Karen. Good point. Mike has called from Poole. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Sheila. I hope we can keep this discussion respectful.
What makes you think we wouldn't?
Well, if you turned it round and it was Mohammed being portrayed as a woman, I think the backlash would be a lot larger. And I feel
agree.
In many ways...
I agree it would be, Mike. I agree it would be.
Yeah. And I feel like your state of mind towards this is very cavalier, should we say. Okay. And if you put that other things that you invest your mind to, I find it very conflicting. So I find it strange that you're not so much more invested. Considering you're a Catholic lady, I find your approach to this quite bizarre, because I feel like it is. Why are they not portraying Christ as he should be, or what we believe maybe he was? Not necessarily as a white man, but even a Middle Eastern guy. Is it? Are they trying to cheapen Christ? Because I think any opportunity, the system seems to give Christ a kicking when they can. And I firmly believe that I think that society is trying to turn people away from Christ. Because what would be the reason of what would be genuinely the reason to turn Jesus into a woman? Well, why would you even consider it?
They're not turning Jesus into a woman. They are choosing a very well-known and brilliant actress on the musical stage to depict him as an actor.
You're being non-combative, and I think this is a deliberate approach to kind of cheapen Christ.
What do you mean I'm being non-combative? You asked me to be respectful,
well, because
and
I think
try to always be.
I think you're being deliberately cavalier, and I don't think you're taking this at all seriously. Let's see if I can get my words out correctly. I don't think you're taking the topic correctly, and it is, in my mind, blasphemous as to what they're doing. But maybe they're doing that because they maybe.
Tell me what you mean when you say it's blasphemous. I mean, of course, we don't have blasphemy laws in this country, but tell me what you mean when you say it's blasphemous.
Well, it's the Son of Christ. It's not a woman.
Son of God.
It's not the daughter of Christ, is it? It's not the daughter of God. It's the son of.
I know, but it's acting, Mike, and singing.
Yeah, but there's plenty of people out there. They could only find a woman. It seems so peculiar. Why would you do it? I think they're trying to cheapen Christianity so people don't turn towards it.
Why does it cheapen Christianity for a woman to depict Christ and his story, or a musical version of his story?
Well, let's perhaps wait for the reviews. I'm not going to shut you down, Sheila. I don't despise you by any stretch, but I can't answer that question until we've seen these reviews. But in my mind, I can't see any real Christians going to see this show.
I'd go and see it.
Who's it for?
I'd go and see it, and I'm a real Christian, or I try to be.
Well, perhaps you'll be the only one in the audience, Sheila. I think.
Bet you I'm not.
Sorry?
Bet you I'm not.
Well, it is what it is. You know, you're inviting people in to question why they're doing it, and I genuinely can't see why you would have someone portraying Jesus.
I'm more interested.
The Son of God as a woman. It's just.
That's not what's happening. They're not depicting the Son of God as a woman. A woman is playing the Son of God in the depiction of the Son of God.
Well, how can he possibly? He's not a man. She isn't a man.
Have you ever? Can I ask you? Have you ever watched a performance on television or in the theatre or the cinema, and kind of stopped noticing that the person you're watching is black or white or male or female? You're just absolutely gripped by the story they're telling you. Have you ever had that experience?
I've gripped. I've watched many programs, and I've taken it on face value for what they are. But as I say, if I watched a program where, I don't know, the Queen of England was portrayed as a man, I'd think, well, how bizarre is this? I'd be questioning it the whole time I'd be watching it. I wouldn't be able to involve myself.
Yeah, but things that we think.
It's not the war horse. There's a caller earlier saying something.
Text, yeah.
You can't have a load of horses clattering about in the theatre. I mean, that's obvious. But That's my view. And,
I know, I know it's your view, and I'm listening to it. And you know, the thing about you're talking about something bizarre. You know, in the reality of Jesus' story, when he said who he was, the established Jewish religious authorities said, absolutely not, mate, we're not having that. When he said, I am the law, I'm the fulfillment of the law, meaning their law, they freaked out. They freaked out.
Well, he was rallying against it, yes.
So on the basis of my conversation with you, in that circumstance, I think you'd have been a Pharisee, wouldn't you? You'd have been the person denying that Christ was who he said he was. No? In that moment? Because it was bizarre. And it was.
I think you've gone off on a different path altogether now.
I don't think I have. It was what he claimed to be to almost, well, actually to every ear that heard it, was bizarre.
Christ is the Son of God. And I think having a woman portray the Son of God as a woman, being a woman, I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
You've answered my question by just going back to your original point. What I'm trying to tease from you is your attitude to strangeness. And there was nothing stranger than what Jesus was saying when he said it for real in the world.
No, they're totally different. Again, I think you're putting up a straw man argument here. That's ridiculous.
I'm not making an argument. I'm asking.
Well, I think that's a
how you respond to
strangeness.
strangeness.
And I couldn't even begin to take up your time with that notion because it's a totally different thing.
Why is it bothering you so much?
Well,
did Robert Powell's blue eyes bother you, and white skin and Caucasian ethnicity?
Well, it was almost there, wasn't it? It was a fella, wasn't it? At least, you know. Let's
so it is strictly down to the male-female thing then.
I think so, as most things are, isn't it? You know, you've got the male and female, and if it's portrayed correctly, you get a good understanding of it. Whereas this way, I don't think you particularly you've got not a clear understanding. So
do you think in Shakespeare, if an Italian character is being portrayed, it's wrong for an English actor to play that character?
I can't answer that question.
Yes, you can, Mike. It's a really simple question.
No, I'm sticking to what I'm saying with it. I'm not being sort of corralled and moved into a different frame of mind.
I'm not corralling you. I'm investigating our conversation, which you're doing as well to me.
It's just clearly wrong. I mean, is this woman going to be wearing makeup? How is she going to be depicting as a bloke? Is she going to walk around with something between her legs? Where does it stop?
So you're now reducing Jesus to his genitalia. Is that what's going on here?
Well, it's being played by a woman, isn't it?
It's an actress.
Where is she? What's going to happen about her breasts when she's nailed up on the cross?
But Mike, it's not the real.
When she's nailed up on the cross,
it's not the real thing, Mike. It's not the real thing. It's acting, performance, musical theatre. It's not the real thing. Everyone in the room knows it's not the real thing. You seem to think it's forcing the world to believe that Jesus was a woman. He wasn't. Nobody thinks he was.